What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2, Episode 3. So in this one, so yeah, so Koichi, learned some new uses for his quirk. Like he can shoot like a force field vibration thing from his hand using his quirk. Like he doesn't accidentally find these guys who look like they're trying to look like they look like Mecha Godzilla and which I guess that's the point. And basically those guys are there trying they're like go to the school to basically they're there to try and pick up chicks. That is what they're doing. And they they knock Koichi out, and Pop comes in. Like we don't see what happens after. We just hear Pop scream, so I'm guessing Pop just leaves. And so major part is like Tsukachi, so he's trying to investigate. So he meets up with All Might. So All Might had basically had heard that of like some giant monsters attacking Okinawa, so he like jumps there, flies over, and basically defeats and like them very quickly, and like those monsters quickly, and just gets over Tsukachi, and he arrives with like a souvenir from there. It's like some rose scented bath salts, and like Tsukachi explains how his arm got hurt, like find the speedster villain. And All Might says if he had asked, he would help. But Sagachi says he couldn't do that because they don't want to risk people thinking that All Might favors certain lives over others, because that could allow some villains to plan crimes that way, like using that information. So, you know, All Might gives like Sakachi the bath salts, whatever, saying that maybe like say that he like probably thought Sakachi's sister could use it. So basically, and then there's like a so after that, then so Sukachi goes back to like so he had he heads back heads back to his house, where he or basically where he tries to talk with like with his sister Makoto about Pop. Makoto says basically that Pop was doing it illegal, all her stuff's legit, so she's uh, she's basically Makoto's not giving information. Tsukachi says that they know she's not responsible for what happened in Osaka, but he still wants to get like still need the talk. He's really talked to her for the investigation, and so they argue. He gives Tsukachi says he'll just out of spite he just used the bath salts himself, and so everyone the next day everyone's just smelling the scent. So some cops asked him if he had a girlfriend or something, and then when when he and Eraserhead are talking to like this Mantis guy, who I guess has due to his appearance has to use a bucket instead of a toilet for whatever. Yeah, that's a round like how he can't get it, the Mantis guy can't. Anyway, so everyone's just smelling it. Eraserhead's kind of laughing about it, and so yeah. Now Eraserhead says that the speedster guy he compares it to a basically a like a like a hero that who has basically been MIA for a while, like or at least hasn't renewed his license for a while. Like the hero, like basically the hero's name was it's like O'Clock. So basically then like basically the hero was like missing. They don't know what happened, so no one knows what happened to O'Clock. Like he was missing, like for a reason. And so this guy has the same quirk as O'Clock. So and the villain had like some poster. He called him. Yeah, so it's interesting what happened. So what happened? So where not, basically that guy let's say O'Clock had his so there's some mystery regarding O'Clock now. Now I'm not gonna reveal. Now there is a big spoiler about O'Clock. I'm not gonna spoil who it is. There's a reason he disappeared. There's a reason. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it is a big spoiler about O'Clock. Like that will be revealed later in the show. Whether I don't know if it'd be this season or next season, where. But there is a big spoiler regarding O'Clock. So anyway, and so obviously Knuckle Dusters still MIA. Like Koichi and Pop don't know why. Like so yeah. So basically, this is kind of just like just dealing with the aftermath of the Osaka stuff. So yeah, I thought it was a good episode. That was funny, like how like Koichi like tried to use his powers. Some stuff was funny, and Sakachi's interactions with All Might and Makoto were funny. So yeah, I like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Lone Kamui season 5, episode 3. So in this episode, you have all the factions like fighting. So obviously, everyone hunting the treasures, going after, they're trying to pursue, the serial killer, Jack the Ripper. Yeah, so who's inside this facility, and so basically, so serial killer Michael Ostrog comes across Ostrapa. Ostrog explains why he kills those women. So okay, he has some belief. Okay, so in the Bible, you have the story of Jesus' birth, where Mary was a virgin. So basically, and so I guess there's some Ainu story about wind going like some east wind blowing onto a woman that like can impregnate them, basically like a virgin birth. So and so and the Ostrog had a belief that the only legitimate birth or virgin birth, and he had some twisted belief that he was a virgin birth, that there's no way he's like I mean, ignoring the fact that marriage exists, like that, ignoring, look, adultery, fornication, that's, and, marriages that, let's say, that involve conceiving children that, like let's just say would definitely go against the Bible, like, keeping things in the family. So ignoring like some of the what we consider unbiblical ways of conceiving children, there is such thing as marriage. Like ignoring like the guy ignores that bit of the Bible, like but he thinks that basically if a child was conceived through sex, then basically it's a sinful birth, which is not necessarily true. Well, first off, the birth of a kid's never sinful because the kid's not to blame for. Look, if a kid was if the conception, like the act that led to conception, was a sin, yes, that's a sin, but the kid's not to blame. So the birth is not a sin. and that's what that freaking nut job didn't get through his thick skull. Anyway, so he explains it. Osiper, Osiper, like he thought I knew, all I knew were born like virgin births. Osiper says no, that her basically basically she's like she said now it's some I knew verbiage that she uses. Basically says that her parent no, she was conceived because her parents had sex. That's just and like so the killer's like no, that can't be right. And he says that some prostitute came up to him, I guess, told him that she was his mother and that his father was like from the royal family. He didn't believe her because he's like, "There's no way I was born that way." He's like he didn't believe he was conceived the way he actually was conceived. And so Asuka is concerned. She threatened like she threatens to like shoot a hit him with a poison arrow. Sugamo appears behind Asuka and says, "Hey, killing's my job." So he very brutally attacks Ostrog. He slices his belly, takes his intestines out, and chokes him with it, and then slams his head against the wall. Then he shoots him, like killing him, like the guy dies. Like it is pretty brutal. And so yeah, so then so one thing happens is so you have Usumi. The look, there was a very viral clip regarding Usumi and Ostrog, like from season 4. There's a very viral clip involving them. So Usumi, was there, like, last episode, like basically there at the crime scene, following his clues to try to find Ostrog. Of course, he comes across the sniper, um Hyakunosuke Ogata. And so they fight. Ogata kills Usumi. And then yeah, there are some deaths. So after all the the deaths and stuff, there's the fire, like the whole factory where it catches on fire. And then yeah, so then you have another like a third like then you have there's like a third death amongst like the yeah, so and then so there's a character named KG. So KG is on tower. He's like, screw y'all. No one gets the no one's gonna get the gold. He basically wants to. And everyone looks at. He's like, everyone is like, yeah, we figured out that they don't necessarily need all 24 in order to all 24 pieces of the map in order to find it. As long as they know they're able to break the code, they could be able to do it. They just all were collecting them because they didn't know at the time and trying to make sure other factions don't get it. And so KG, he's like, he tries to get up, but he falls. He hits it. Basically, he falls. His head he splatters. The rest of his body just falls down. Like, holy crap! What an episode! Like, this is one of the most brutal episodes. Like, the whole Sugimo using intestine, trying to choke Ostrog with his intestines, and then slamming his head. Like, holy! I was like, holy frick! This is awesome. This is a fight. Like this is just brutal. Like it was like a bro. I mean, the guy had a lot coming. The guy was a nut job. He honestly, the fact he was ever kept in prison, not executed immediately, makes no sense to me. But whatever. But like, yeah, like, dude, like, and and they show his moments. I'm like, this guy was this guy. I was like, was this guy retarded? Was this guy seriously that retarded? He didn't know how babies were made? Like he didn't know how every baby except for Jesus was made. Gosh. But yeah, I thought it was a very good episode. Looking for the next one. Primal season 3 episode 2. So in this episode, so Spear um basically just wanders around. He like so there's some Civatherium. There's like a herd of those that he frightens accidentally just by you know they frighten just by walking. And then he hears a roar, and he has some visions of Fang. So he goes to the direction of the sound, and he's attacked by a giant sandworm, and he's injured. And he basically when the sun rises, or this basically that he's like say like sandworm goes away where. And so Spear like he continues on, and he like dreams of his former self, like of of him when he was alive. And there's like in the dream like there's like fire rain that comes down, burning both zombie Spear and the alive Spear. And Spear wakes up to the to like well it raining. And Spear follows the roaring sound to mountains where he finds these ruins where some Barbary lions live. The lions attack him, and then like basically the ground breaks, and everyone falls in the underwater cavern. Spear escapes, but all the lions drown. So he finds an exit, and then two more lions attack him. Then he gets in his other area to say, and more lions surround him. Then this older like gray lion with a black mane is revealed to be the alpha, like the leader, and attacks Spear. And basically, like it's a big lion, like it's a big like difficult fight. Like he like can turn, but then so Spear finds spear that a skeleton told him. He grabs it and he uses it to kill the lion. With the leader dead, all the other lions retreat. And so Spear then leaves the ruins after hearing another roar. So he continues on to find like like basically find Fane. So yeah, I thought this was a very good episode. Like, I mean, obviously it looks like this is about Spear trying to find Fane. Now, it probably if it's not Fane, it could be one of Fane's offspring. Like, I mean, who knows? Or like an offspring's offspring. I mean, how I don't know how long it's been since Spear had died. Like, I don't know how long it's been. Like, because there is a time jump, like in at the end of season 2, where you had Spear and Mira's daughter, you had Fane's offspring being grown up. So yeah, so then we know like we know this is definitely like I don't know if this was how far this is after. So and then yeah, so basically um basically Spear we don't know how far, we don't know how long he's been dead. We just know he was rotten, like he was rotten. So he's just like we'll probably I imagine we'll know some more about what happened, like how long it's been, has it like how long it's been since like season 2, like within the show, like how long has it been? 'Cause that should be interesting. I really like this episode. Like the fights against the lions were awesome. Like and basically him Spear gradually trying learning more about his past. Now, one question is where will he be able to speak? Because he did speak some in the first two seasons. Well, he spoke one line in like season 1 with the line being Mira. then spoke a little more in season 2. Obviously, he hasn't spoken in season 3. Will he learn to speak even as a zombie? Who knows? That will probably be dealt with later in the show, like in the show. I thought this was a very good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.